End scene.
Oh,
Dude.
it's so cool to hear the stage directions with it because, I mean, I don't know. It's just cool to know. It's get a glimpse into like what the writing meant.
Yes.
For, you know?
Yes.
Really
and we don't get to have table reads. So like we never hear the stage direction as actors get to speak their lines in between. So to have that moment outside of us just reading the script before we go in to record, it's just cool to play it back and hear it out loud.
Cool.
It's really cool. And I love how emotional you get because it makes me like charge up.
No, I wonder too, like if we compare how our original reads compare to this one, if there's anything different, because, you know, you just bring to it whatever you feel in the moment. I don't know.
No, it's true. Anyway, fans can A/B that performance with what aired.
Yeah, somebody piece it together. But I am so lucky to have been able to go on this journey with you, and you're an ace and a phenomenal actress. Not that anyone has to tell you that.
Thanks,
and I feel so lucky.
Thank you. I feel really lucky too. I think that we were really, first of all, like plucked into something really, really special. Like I don't even think we even really knew the weight of what this show would carry for so many people, especially LGBTQ youth. Like I think this show it carries a huge responsibility, but I think Noelle was the perfect person to kind of lead the charge in that aspect. Yes, but to be characters in this show and know what it stands for and what it represents and just speak towards people that feel disenfranchised or don't get to speak out on what they believe in. This show has been able to do that for people. And it's pretty wild. It's really cool to be a part of something like this.
Yeah. And it kind of just feels like an accident, you know, like as an actor, I'm sure you can relate, like, you know, you get booked on a job and you hope that it's good and you hope that people respond, but so often they don't, you know what I mean? Like not everything is going to resonate. Not everything's going to be like a hit or whatever.
Right.
So it's always such a nice surprise when you find that like it does resonate with them. And I just feel like, you know, other than bringing whatever we can to it, maybe I can only speak for myself. I just felt like I was dropped into this like amazing project and I'm just really lucky.
Same. And I think the casting between like me and you and Karen and Marcus and Lauren, like it's such a strong, like I love our scenes together. We don't really get to do that often and we didn't really get to record in the room, all of us together very consistently because everyone had a different shooting schedule on their own live action stuff. But to know that as a cast, like, you know, we all came together during that finale and we did that like live Twitter feed. And it was really sweet to see us all up there on the screen, like Brady Bunch together. Cause I'm like, this is a gold cast. I was like, this is dope.
And I'm sad that we're not going to get to travel together just like one more time. I mean, who knows? Like maybe somebody will want us at some convention, but yeah, it's just,
it's really special.
I would love another hurrah, a last hurrah.
I would too.
Yeah.
Two things I will say before I let you go. One, you were like one of the first people to text me when my show got canceled, which was so sweet. I mean, for people who are watching this, like we all, I think at this point know it's not big news, but Schooled was canceled, so we won't be coming back for season 3, but you were so sweet and you sent me the nicest text. And I just want to say, like, outside of my family of Schooled, like, this was also my family for a pretty long period of time, even though we were in and out of the booth and like, it's different than shooting a live action show, but I'm so lucky we got to work together. I have adored recording with you. And I hope we get to do it again because I think our voices, the way we kind of like contrast each other on screen is really special, but also like being in the booth with you and seeing how emotionally charged you get on certain scenes, it helps feed my performance.
I'm constantly learning from you. And I think one of the great things about you is that you really kind of aren't too concerned about committing. And I know that sounds really stupid maybe to people who aren't actors, but there's so many people who are afraid to commit because maybe they'll look, I don't know, whatever, like
totally.
Too much or
yeah,
ugly or something. God forbid for a woman to look ugly in this business. Not that you ever could, but you know what I'm saying? There is a lot of hesitation when it comes to going all the way. And I really admire your fearlessness in playing Catra and any character you play.
Thank you, Aimee. And then another thing I'll say, because I think it's kind of a trip for fans, and I don't think we've ever like released this information, but I originally, at this point, almost 4 years ago, I recorded for Adora. Like my agents were like, cool, so you're going out for Adora. It's this, you know, reboot of She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. At the time, I didn't know what She-Ra was, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of us did. I mean, it was not our generation. No. But I auditioned for Adora. I did not make it far, but then they called me back and they were like, we really think you're right for Catra. Will you come in and read with a girl that is pretty much, I mean, they didn't tell me this at the moment, but I think she was a lock to play Adora. It was a chemistry read, and it was not you. It was another girl.
Yeah.
And
I learned that years later, by the way.
Did you really? Because we never talked about it.
We didn't talk about it. I mean, you're so classy, like, you wouldn't. You know what I mean? There are
Except for now.
I'd be like, girl, no, I'm saying, like, the first thing I would tell you is, like, girl, the other girl got fired. Like, you know, but you are just elegant and classy. No, but so I had a feeling, because just the way everything was, like, all the animatics had already been recorded. Like, you had recorded some things. And I was just like, this is so weird. And then I asked Noelle finally, like, a year ago, and she was like, yeah, somebody else had the job. And so it just goes to show two things. A, how wonderful it is to be a part of animation, because you get to play characters that look nothing like you. Like, if we were auditioning for the live action version of this, like, you would absolutely be Adora. Not only because of your talent, but also because you look like her. Uh-huh. And then I don't know who I'd be. Maybe a Catra. I don't know. But,
you actually could be a Catra.
Yeah,
totally.
But I think it's so interesting that and great that animation allows for different, you know, people who to break away from the way they look. And then I guess the second thing would be, wait, what is the second thing?
Oh, how recasting happens? Was that where you were heading?
Yeah. And how some things, like, if it's meant for you, it's meant for you. You know what I mean? Somebody can literally already have the job, and then and it happens. I mean, it happens. Hopefully not often, but it does happen where people get recast. But I am so thankful that I did that person did. Whoops.
I know. I don't even remember who it was.
But yeah,
it's just it's really cool that it became us. I mean, and I think it was a no-brainer to Noelle. You know, when I was in that room and it was me and her reading with each other. I'm not throwing shade on this. She was very talented, but I don't think she was fully comfortable with that role. And I felt like I was fully comfortable playing Catra. I was just figuring it out as I went. But I do feel like people know when a role is right for you and when it's not. And it was like you came in and it was like a no-brainer. And, you know, you've had to work double time because you're Adora and She-Ra. But this is going to sound silly, but, like, what is your favorite, like, if you had to say, like, you know, I'm choosing my Adora moments or my She-Ra moments, who do you enjoy playing more?
Oh, Adora, 100%.
Yeah, I figured.
You know, she's human. I feel like She-Ra is human too, but it's like she's like the I don't know. One time I compared it to, like, this like an alter ego. Like, she becomes. I mean, you're musical. Like, you are not. I mean, you're like a professional musician. And I remember, like, when I was in, like, musical theater class, they would say, like, once a character, like, just cannot speak, they sing. And it's one of these things with Adora. I feel like once she has, like, hit her limit of, like, brute strength and power, then she becomes this other thing. And it's a time where she doesn't have any she doesn't have any, like, self consciousness. She doesn't have any, like, she's able to leave her problems behind and just task, right, as She-Ra, which is cool for her, but, like, not as interesting to play as a human with, like, you know, with real world problems. Yeah, She-Ra is like the hero version of Adora, and at that point she can leave everything else behind. Exactly. Yeah. So she's not really grappling with, or maybe I'm wrong about that, but I remember, like, just, you know, when we were trying to, like, figure out what the difference is going to be in my voice, and I don't think there ended up being a difference, but I think that's good. Well, yeah, me too. I think Noelle, like, thought maybe they'd put a filter on it or something at first, but thankfully that, I don't know if that would have been distracting or anything. I'm so glad they didn't, that it's just you. Yeah. I think it's better. Yeah. And then how many times would you say you've said "for the honor of Grayskull"? So many times that they had a library of them. and it's one of those things, like, I want to ask you this too, if we have the time. Do you feel like as a voice actor, there's always, like, maybe as Catra, because I know "For the Honor of Grayskull" was that thing for me, where I just, like, every time I had to say it, I had, like, this thing in the pit of my stomach. Because I don't know. It has so much pressure on it. So many people know what it is. And the more you say it, you're like, I don't want it to lose its authenticity, but it can't be a canned phrase that's the same recording you use in every episode. Yeah, so it's like... So it just... do you ever feel like, maybe not as Catra, but as other I don't know, even just your characters or live action, like, did you ever feel like, oh, this is a thing everybody quotes back at me, and because they do, it's all this pressure that people, you know, I don't know if you had any moments like that.
Not in like live action, only in animated, but I would say it's "Hey Adora," you know, the catcher slogan, which really does change in a lot of episodes. Like sometimes it's kind of sultry, sometimes it's like defiant, other times it's like territorial. Like it changes the mean. So I understand they can't ever use one version of it. And then the other thing I would say is this cartoon that I worked on for Cartoon Network called Steven Universe. My character would say I'm a fusion when Connie and Steven would fuse together. And so if I like go to a convention or whatever, people are always like, will you record yourself saying I'm a fusion? So that's become my little slogan. But nothing in live action world. Clearly my animated career is more interesting to people.
No, well, I mean, we're just more, like, there was this thing I had to say when I was on Young and Hungry, which my character would, like, say her full name, like Sofia Maria, I forgot it all, but it was, like, a full name, and, like, people are constantly either saying it at me or asking me to say it, not constantly, nobody knows who I am, but I'm saying, like, when I'm in a position where, like, maybe at a convention or something, or even on Instagram, like, it's my birthday, can you record yourself saying all the names?
You're like, no, honey, this is not Cameo.
No.
You're like, hello.
So it's one of those things that it becomes its own thing after a while. And I just, I don't know. It's interesting to hear I'm glad that I'm not the only person that's like, oh my God, there's another one of these in the script. Like, how am I going to make it different? Like, still fill expectations, whatever.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Well, now we have really cool slogans that will live on Netflix.
I know.
It's kind of cool. Yeah. I'm hoping I know Kevin Smith at one point was going to do a He-Man reboot. Yeah. And I'm really hoping that like he somehow incorporates She-Ra and makes it like just because of how like powerful the impact of the She-Ra reboot has been, that he puts them together and we can come back and relive our characters.
Clearly people want it. You know, what's crazy is I remember recently Noelle was like, there's so many people have like, since the finale, I think new people have found the show because maybe they heard about what happened at the end. So they've been watching the show. So I wonder if Netflix is like kicking themselves right now, like
that they gave it an ending.
Seasons, I don't know. But.
I know it's kind of crazy because for a lot of people, they feel like it ended too quickly. The way they like dropped the episodes, it's like, all right, 5 seasons aired in like 2 years.
I know. But that's kind of, it took much longer than that because animation takes so long. But yeah,
people only get to live with it. People only get to live with it for a short period of time before they're rewatching. And
also it would be cool to see like what Catra and Adora get on to post this revelation. Like what is their life like? Yeah. Have
you seen all these like fan fiction after the show scenarios? Like have you seen stuff of us having a baby, by the way?
I've seen the pictures and I'm like, that's so sweet.
I know. And it's like a baby that looks half cat but has like an Adora hairdo.
100% has the poof.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So funny. I think that's so great. Like I've been a fan of shows, I'm sure you have too, where you kind of wish like we finally got what we wanted as an audience. I wish that we could get, like a
the aftermath
life once we do. But I understand why shows do it because they want to keep people,
wanting more, and people have to at some point tie up a story. Like there are so many shows that just went on too long. It's like Dexter, Breaking Bad, God bless them, but like, could have ended sooner. Should have.
But in this case, I would be so thrilled to get back in the booth with you, playing Adora or something else. So maybe somebody will hire us.
I'm gonna hire us. I'm gonna campaign for a Netflix movie, for like a She-Ra movie.
Yes, I will be the first to sign that
petition. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. It'll start with this live stream. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Thanks, Aly, for reading the stage directions.
Oh,
way below her pay grade.
You're welcome.
And literally below.
I'm literally below. I'm on the ground. I just wanted you guys to have your little moment together.
Thank you so much.
Of course. We adore you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Love you, Aimee. Bye, baby.